Like most media groups, the BBC puts out endless coverage about the war between Israel and Hamas, but when they talk to Palestinians, they always seem to forget to ask some really essential questions. The three questions that the BBC never asks Palestinians are: do you support Hamas? Do you think there should be a Palestine next to Israel? What do you think about the 7th of October Hamas attack on Israel? It is not that they forget to ask. That can't be the case, since the BBC is not run by stupid people. It is rather that they have an agenda, so they intentionally don't ask, because if they were to ask the Palestinians those three essential questions, the whole narrative that the BBC tries to make you believe would collapse. Most Palestinians would say that they support Hamas, that they are against a Palestinian state existing next to a Jewish state, and they would deny the 7th of October attack ever happened, or say that the Israelis did it themselves. How do I know? Even Mahmoud Abbas, the president of the Palestinian National Authorities, published an official statement saying that it was the Israeli military that shot and killed all the festival goers. Some might say, how can it be that Mahmoud Abbas, who in some places in the West is not considered to be an extremist, can say such a thing? Well, in a way, I can understand his way of thinking. At the end of the day, he is an Arab Muslim leader, and in Muslim countries, it is not unusual for the army to shoot at its own civilians if it serves the purpose of the state. In Israel, we are different. Any Israeli soldier would give his life to protect Israeli women and children. And when talking about Mahmoud Abbas, please be aware that he did his PhD at a Soviet university and wrote a thesis blaming the Jews for the Holocaust. But back to the BBC. Next time you watch it, listen out for the only question the BBC asks the Palestinians in different variations. It is always, can you please tell us how bad your situation is because of the Israelis? And the reason they do it is that they want to present the Palestinians as victims, innocent victims who are constantly being repressed by Israel. If they show that these victims actually support Hamas and are against the existence of Israel, that won't fit the narrative. The anti-Israel line of the BBC didn't start yesterday. As a tour guide, when something happens in Israel, I turn to international media to see how the story is being covered. And in general, the BBC has the most anti-Israeli coverage. Here is a typical small but telling example. Look at this headline: Palestinian killed as Israeli settlers attack town. Now look at the one below it. 4 Israelis shot dead near West Bank settlement. So in the first headline, it is very clear who the bad guys are: the Israelis. The Israelis did the attacking. But in the second headline, the deaths are written about in a passive form. 4 Israelis were killed. But who killed them? Maybe it was the IRA. Yes, let's assume it was the IRA. It is such a shame that the BBC, which has such a long and respected history, which used to broadcast Churchill's speeches, has now sided with the Palestinians. In Israel, the BBC is now considered the most anti-Israeli news group in the West. The Israeli TV show Eretz Nehederet did a great comedy sketch about it last week.
With more details, our Middle East correspondent, Harry Whitegill.
Good evening, Rachel, from the illegal colony of Tel Aviv. Israeli officials has denied bombing the hospital, but we have video footage showing what really happened indeed.
Absolutely shocking, Harry.
Yeah, we got this video from Hamas, the most credible terrorist organization in the world.
Please give this video a like and be sure to share it. I really want this video to get in front of as many viewers in the UK as possible. See you next week with a video on how to debunk the most common pro-Palestinian arguments. Yalla bye.